First of all, I think in a business which is successful, as is this business, I always say to my team, you should be thinking that the worst is coming. And you should never be satisfied. And you should be always frightened and on the qui-vive. In a way, state of mind is to be positive, paranoid. So on one hand, we try to be thinking of the worst, but on the other hand, we are optimistic. I try to be optimistic long-term, but pessimistic short-term. And that's a good state of mind, I think. In the 90s, I had the idea of a luxury group. And at the time, I was very much criticized for it. I remember people telling me it does not make sense to put together so many brands. And my father was really exceptional because he always gave me the sense of business. And when I arrived in the business with him, after 3 years, he told me, "Hey, Guy, I think you are able to run the business. So let's do it." And he gave me the key. I was 25, and I was running. It was a small business, only 1,000 people, but it was risky for him because it's a business he built over his entire life. Starting from that, we built the LVMH today, and it took us also a long time to build, and against a lot of criticism. And a lot of people thought we were crazy to do it. And then we tried to build it. And today, a little more than 15 years after, it's the number one seller worldwide of beauty products. And it's also a very, very successful internet e-tailer. For instance, we are number one in the US for beauty products, selling on the internet far above any competitor. The group, the LVMH group, in spite of its size, is very, very startup-minded. And I think it's part of our culture. It's because I am an engineer, and I have always been passionate about technology. And for me to be in touch with startups, technology startup has always been a passion. I have invested in many of them with variable success, but globally it was, and it still is, a fantastic experience. LVMH, I said, is a large group by French standard. Today, believe it or not, we are number one on the French market cap here. But I think by international standards, it's still very small. So I used to say to my team, we are still very small. We are still like a startup. And I will be happy when we have maybe 2 or 3 times that market cap. So we'll see if we can get it. Our culture is based mainly on creativity. And in a startup, the major reason for success at the beginning is to have an idea, a creative idea, an innovative idea that is really putting the company with an advance to everybody else. It should be, to be successful, a game changer. But it's not enough. I think almost as important as the idea at the beginning is the execution. And the fact that building on the idea must be really very professional, very efficient, and that also makes a difference. I have seen a lot of startups with very interesting ideas, but with also some other competitors almost with the same ideas, but only one or two of them are successful. It's because the execution of their business plan. So it's key for the long-term success of a startup to be able to execute well.